Hello and welcome to another segment of Food for the Soul. I am your host today, Alicia Chestnut. Thank you for joining me on my healthy journey. Today we are preparing greens. Just about every culture has a version of a greens dish. A lot of people know about collard greens. Sometimes they make mixed greens. Sometimes they put turnip greens with their collards or the mustards. And that's what we're doing today. I want to emphasize a healthier version. Right here on my trusty platter, I have a variety of ingredients that we're going to actually put in our greens for today. The first thing I do want to talk about is just using a healthier version of meat. A lot of people use the base of some kind of smoked meat when they're making their greens, but a healthier version is not necessarily, let's say, the ham hock or the bacon. Sometimes you can use turkey bacon. I'm actually not using any meat today because I'm making a savory version still, but with vegetables. I'm going to be sauteing peppers, tomatoes, onions, garlic, and that flavor profile is going to give you the savoriness that you need, and you really won't miss the meat at all. Everybody has a lot of different options that they can use for greens. The easiest option, I would say, is you can literally go to Walmart. You can buy the bunch of greens, or you can buy the pre-chopped greens that are washed and prepared. Even right here in Selma, where I reside, you can go to Block Park on certain days and get fresh greens that local farmers grow. And speaking of local farmer, I'm not a big farmer myself, but the greens that I have provided today, I grew in my own garden. That's something else I do want to emphasize, is actually growing your own food. And when you do grow your own food, you know exactly what was used as fertilizers, how it was grown. So let's get to cooking. The first thing I want to do, I would like to go ahead and let's go ahead and cut up some of these greens that I grew in my garden. And you can rough chop them. You don't have to, doesn't have to be even perfect. You can rough chop these. Get some of these mustard greens here. And you can do a mix just like what I'm doing. Right there at Walmart, you can get collard greens, you can get your turnip greens, whatever the flavor profile that you like. I like collard greens and mustard greens because the mustards have a bitter taste to it that kind of offset the flavor profile that the collards have, and it's just a delicious mix. Some people, when they're cutting their greens, sometimes they cut the middle out. Sometimes I do that depending on how fresh the greens are. I leave in a lot of the stem in the middle because that has more fiber in it. Okay, so let's get our greens back over here. Now, for the savoriness of this dish here, I like to, like I said, put some peppers in there. And I'm going to take just a piece of each pepper here. The yellow pepper, red pepper, green pepper. If you look at the different colors on the peppers, kind of lets you know the different vitamins that are in there just by the color itself. I like to cut up my sweet peppers, kind of like bite-sized pieces. Better on the digestive system. Where it's just vegetables, but it's savory at the same time. Asian cultures, you know, they have bok choy. African culture, they have bitter leaf. I mean, each culture has their own version of collards. And collards are eaten all over the world. Actually, in India, in a place called Kashmir, they eat a lot of collards there. In different places of Africa, they eat a lot of collards. Very healthy. Okay, so I think we have a nice medley here. And just to let you know as well, yes, I'm cutting up the fresh peppers, but you also have healthier and easier versions as well. If you don't have time, you go right into your freezer. You can go to any grocery store. We have Winn-Dixie, we have Walmart here. Go into your frozen section and get a nice pepper medley if you're running out of time. Actually, this one comes with peppers and onions. So speaking of onions, I'll go ahead and get some onions in there. I'll cut them just a little finer than the peppers. I like them to caramelize a little bit. And when I'm cooking the dish, I actually put the olive oil, the onions, and garlic in there together first, just to get those flavors melted together. Very easy. Let's go ahead, get our onions on there. The next ingredient for our dish, tomatoes. And I love tomatoes. I mean, I could eat a tomato by itself, a tomato sandwich, and they're just delicious in greens. And if you don't have fresh tomatoes, you can go right down to your local grocery store and you can get some diced tomatoes, just as healthy, just as flavorful, and very reasonable as well. Get these tomatoes cut up. While I'm cutting this up, something else that I do with my greens, so I will literally get some greens, put them in my blender with some water, and I will blend those greens up. And sometimes I'll put an apple in there, and that's another way of getting your greens in. If you know, sometimes you don't feel like cooking, you can blend up your greens with some water and some apples, make a smoothie out of it, put some bananas in there. Okay, we have our tomatoes right here. Okay. Now the next ingredient we're going to put in here is garlic. Now if you don't have fresh garlic, you can get minced garlic from the grocery store and it's just as good. And these are delicious. I've actually used these before, and time savers. And you can actually make your own minced garlic. You can sit there and literally peel a lot of garlic, chop it up, bottle it just like this, and have it in your refrigerator for a couple of weeks. Saves a lot of time and money as well. One thing to remember when you're preparing to cut up your garlic, what you do want to do, you want to just take your knife and crush the garlic down. When you crush the garlic, it releases the oils, the healthy oils, out of the garlic itself. Just peel that there. And when you release those oils and you put that in your frying pan, oh my goodness, just the smell alone is just wonderful. Your taste buds get so happy just knowing those greens are coming. And so as you see what I'm cutting here for this recipe, we have about a pound of greens, of mixed greens, and then about quarter cup to a cup of tomatoes. Now these garlic, I'm actually going to put them right here with my onion because that's what I'm going to put in my pot first. Okay, and so the fresh ingredients, this is pretty much it. Your mixed greens, or one type of green, whatever you like, and then you just prepare that and you make sure you just have the rest of your ingredients here. And like I said, this is food for the soul, but the key here is to remember that health matters. And health matters, your ingredients matter, and having options matter. So here's some options. So when you're cooking your greens here, you can use canola oil, you can use olive oil. So in this recipe, we're going to use some soy sauce. The soy sauce is going to take place of the salt. I don't necessarily just get a salt shaker and just shake salt all over my greens. I don't like a lot of salty food, but I like a little kick to it. And the soy sauce brings out the flavors that we have in all the vegetables here. And so, and make sure you look for the healthier option. Right here we have the soy sauce, less sodium. Be very careful because they look alike. One is green, one is red, but this one is less sodium and this is original. So this is soy sauce, all-purpose seasoning here. We are going to be using the one with less sodium. So I'm going to move that over here. And like I said, these are two healthy versions. I will use the olive oil today. And I'll be using a little bit of black pepper to taste. Okay. Well, thank you for watching me chop. Let's head on over to the stove. We're back. So here we have our frying pan. And the first thing we're going to put in here is some olive oil. Had my pan getting hot for a while here. Put the olive oil in there. And let's go ahead and get our tomatoes. Go ahead and get the whole medley in there. If some greens get in there, it's okay. We just want to get this sauteed. The amount of oil I put in there, I just put enough just to lightly coat the bottom of the pan. Okay. And I'll go ahead and burn up just a little bit. All right, so we got that sauteed in there. Then go in here with some more greens. Let's get our collards in there. And like I said, you can use any combination of greens that you like. Sometimes you just want collard greens. Sometimes you want a mix. The mustard mix with the collards, mustards are kind of spicy, and I kind of like that bite. I like that combination, and my family likes that combination as well. And get everything well incorporated. And I mean, look at that. It's so vibrant. The colors are vibrant. And when you see your food looking like this, you know you're getting your daily vitamins in. You know this is a healthy dish. You know this is packed full of fiber, all your B12s, you know, all your daily vitamins. And like I said, this can be a meal all to itself. So what I'm going to do now, put a little water in here. Now you can put enough to taste. I would say maybe about 2 tablespoons of water. Just enough for it to steam. The original way, I would say that a lot of people make their greens, they'll put the pork in there and the pork will melt into the fat, so they don't use any other oils. But that type of oil from pork, you know, it's not healthy. And then they would put their greens in there and then maybe add some black pepper to it and then add a lot of water to it and then let it cook for hours upon hours. A lot of times when you do that, a lot of the nutrients have been depleted. When you cook this way and when you braise and when you steam, you keep a lot of the vitamins and nutrients and fiber in your food, and that's what you want. So you can, you know, have a healthy heart, you have a healthy digestive system, a well-rounded immune system. And it's pretty easy if you just make a few small changes in your life. So we'll let this cook for a few minutes, and I'll see you at plating. So the most amazing moment that you've been waiting for, taste testing. So here is a finished product. Oh, look at that. Oh, you know that's going to taste delicious. Okay, so we have our greens here, and I'm going to go ahead and plate it here. And make sure you get a little bit of everything in there. You know, get some of the tomatoes and onions and that garlic in there. Let's put it on here. And we're actually in luck today. We have Miss Cindy Fisher, who's going to be joining us to taste test this delicious greens dish.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Hi, Cindy. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you for making this for us as part of Food for the Soul.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm so excited to just be here with you and just giving me the opportunity to come here and share a healthy recipe that my family eats pretty much every week. And just even starting this health initiative, Health Matters, and this whole soul food segment. Yes, definitely.
Oh, and you have all these other options to put in as well.
Yes, and so we keep it very healthy in my household. So really, like, this flavor profile is bursting with flavor. We don't put salt in there, but we can put a little bit of soy sauce. And you don't have to necessarily put it while it's cooking. You don't want to cook out the flavor out of it. You can simply just put just a dash, before you serve it. A little black pepper on top there for a little flavoring, a little kick to it. And I'll go ahead and get this plate for you right here. And you have to let us know how you like it.
Well, I look forward to serving this to the community as well, which is part of our project.
Oh, wonderful.
And we will be also doing sweet potato pie, so we'll have a dessert as a choice coming up.
I cannot wait for that recipe. I personally want a copy of that recipe because my family loves sweet potato, and to have a healthier version that we can actually maybe even have a slice of sweet potato each week, that would be a plus.
Wouldn't that be great? And it's healthy too.
Yes.
We also made mac and cheese with a family.
Oh, that's delicious.
That was a healthier way to make mac and cheese. So all of these are just traditional soul food that I grew up on and you grew up on, because we're here in the South, the deep South.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to eat. We eat this all the time.
All the time.
There is a way to eat it healthy. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, let's check it out.
Oh my goodness. I know you also put honey in yours sometimes.
I do sometimes. When I want a kind of like a sweet and sour version, I'll put a little bit of honey and sesame oil. And that's like special occasions, like the weekly, we kind of stick to the heart healthy. But I love that flavor profile with the sesame oil and a little bit of ginger and honey in there.
I also love that you grew this in your garden.
It's
not that hard to do.
It's really not that hard. The key is making sure you water your plants every day. I had to learn that. I used to wonder, why are my plants watering? I water them like every few days, right? But it's watering them every day and showing them some TLC. Don't just take the seeds and just throw them on top. They'll just sit there. If you literally take a little bit of time and you put them underneath that earth, everything will be okay.
And they'll turn out like this.
Just like this.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is delicious.
Yeah, and thank you for having us here for another soul food segment, Cooking Greens. We'll see you soon.